How we doing? Saintsman here, small van driver on the CX. Banished to the bedroom. It's Sunday night. It's 5 to 6. Gonna keep this short. Um, it's all about dead miles this last week, and no back load jobs or third jobs or jobs to get me home. It's been a long day. Um, yeah. First of all, fuel 113 works out at 136, and it's the same again this week coming up. So it is what it is. Um, Monday I had nothing booked in because I had the dentist at 9 o'clock. But then I'd got a job booked in down to I had 2 drops and ended up at Bexhill on Sea, which is in the middle of bloody nowhere. There's no work down there, but I got good money. And I come back and I got a job out of Great Missenden to Banbury, which wasn't too bad. So Monday wasn't too bad a day because I've been the dentist. Tuesday, I got a job again with the same shipper as I did Monday morning, and that was to Winchester and Sturminster, which is about 10 miles north of Wimborne. Again, middle of nowhere. Sturminster Newton, it was called. And do you know what? I could not get a job back. I went up to Salisbury. I stopped at Andover. Nothing. I couldn't even nothing to bid on. So it died on its arse on Tuesday. So I did 140 miles dead, which is not brilliant. And then I got a job on Wednesday, and it turned out to be beneficial to me. Not to begin with. I'd got a job from Northampton going to Reading, which is okay area, and it was all right money. Picked a part up to go to a company in Reading. It was south of Reading. It was began with the G, Graiseley, something like that. It was just south of the M4. And when I got there, they refused it. It was the wrong part. And he said, "Can you just?" I took it off the van. It was on a pallet. It was on a pallet. And he says, "Do you mind waiting?" I said, "No." And he said, "I'm going to phone the customer up where I picked it up from." So I phoned the shipper to advise him that the gentleman's going to refuse this. And while I was on the phone, he said to the customer, "You've sent the wrong part." They said, "Can you put it back on the van for us?" Which meant that I was bringing it back, which was fine. I had nothing booked. I phoned the shipper and I got a return. So it worked out okay, really. And that got me back to Northampton. And then I did a small job from Wellingborough to Milton Keynes. So Wednesday wasn't too bad a day. No dead miles. Thursday was nothing really. I took a job. I had to go to Market Harborough, which is 25 miles from where I live, to get a job, and I didn't get a job until 9:30. And that was only going to Moulton Park. It was going back to Northampton, and I quoted accordingly. I was surprised I got it, but I did, and it was not brilliant money, but it was okay. And then I got a job from Buckingham, which again is 25 miles from Northampton, to Market Harborough, believe it or not, and then on to Alfreton. And I ended up in Alfreton, which is north of Derby. It's just off the M1 junction 28, I'm going to say. 29, something like that, 28. And again, I could not get a job from Alfreton back to Northampton. I went past all the what I call hot spots for me, which are like Alfreton itself, Heanor, Nottingham, Derby, Loughborough, Colville, Leicester, Shepshed, even Leicester, even Lutterworth. By then, I'd give up and drive home. So there was a couple of jobs I about quoted on, but nothing. Again, so I had dead miles, quite a lot. And then Friday, I got a job already booked in. Someone they phoned me. It was a job. Wasn't on the CX. Well, he puts it through the CX, but it phones me first. And I picked up in Newport Pagnell, and it was 3 drops. One in Wokingham, 2 in Reading, and good money. And it was okay delivering residential addresses. And I managed to get a Reading to St Albans, which was all right. That paid okay. In fact, it paid very good money. And in St Albans, again, I was even at St Albans, and there was a job, and a shipper put on St Albans, and it was 23 miles. Yeah, 23 miles going north from St Albans pays £20. You can't. I can't get my head round. They're trying to do jobs for 20 quid. You know, the job may only take you 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You've still got to do the invoice. You've still got to send the invoice. You've still got the aggro of it all. You may have a hold up of 10, 15 minutes at the collection, 10. No one should do a job for 20 quid. 30 quid is the lowest I would go. And that could be 2 miles. It's 30 quid. But there you go. It said page 20. I didn't even quote on it. I didn't even bother. And you know what? It went. It went for that. So I started. I weren't far from home. St Albans is not a massive distance from my house. Really, it's I don't know 45 miles, maybe 50. I can't remember. But again, I drove home. Decided to have an early finish. I was done by 1. So that was the week. Wasn't brilliant. Yeah, I've just had my dinner, so I'm feeling a bit. Well, yeah, it wasn't brilliant, but that's what the week was. And that's how it is at the moment. I had a really good week the week before, but last week, not as good. I did 1,300 miles. So mileage wasn't quite up to 15, but it was still 1,300 miles. My duty time was 42 hours. That is a full week, you know, and that was with a short Friday. I did 9.5, 8, 8.5, 7.5, and 8. It's a full week. It's not brilliant. 32 hours driving. So I had 10 hours, 2 hours a day not driving. Because I weren't hanging around at places too long because there was nothing to hang around for. I did 791 quid. Then you add the VAT, 20%. It's 949.20. VAT man gets 94.92. And that leaves me with 854.28. You divide that by 5, it works out £170.85 a day. And that, it seemed like hard work to get that. I have a low, when I first started, I said, oh, if I get 750, this is 4.5 years ago. God, if I get 750 quid a week, X's and all that, that'll be the lowest sort of figure, 150 a day. And if I get 180 a day, I'll be mega happy. If I get 200 a day, wow, that was 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. And now I've got £170.85, 4.5 years later. Still only on the same sort of money. Everything else has gone up. But there are so many drivers and so many drivers doing it for small amount of money. I don't know how they're making it work. A good friend of ours, one of the YouTube guys, is knocking on the head and he's going to work PAYE because it's just a struggle. It is a struggle because he's got a lot of responsibility. He's got a family and he's finding it really hard. And if he gets a PAYE, he's guaranteed money. And I can understand it totally. I'm lucky. I've always said before, I haven't got a mortgage. I haven't got kids at home. Just me, my good lady, and I've got a private pension that pays me because I'm 60, nearly 62. Nearly 62. So I've had a private pension pay me from 60, so I can afford to do it for less money. But if you're joining the CX and you think you're going to make a lot of money at the moment, that's not going to happen. It really ain't. You might do if you work 80 hours a week and work Saturday and Sunday 7 days a week. You might make more money, but your outgoings will be just as big. So that's it. Yeah, there's a job there. Look, I'll bet it in. I'll have a look. No, it's just a make. Yeah, that's it really. So like I say, it was okay. I could survive on that. I can survive. I can't put too much money aside for things. Like I put money aside for a new van, for maintenance on a van. I put so much aside. I can get another van. I'm hanging fire till April, May. Gonna get a short wheelbase van that does nearly as many miles as mine, just for the comfort of me, because I'm gonna tramp again in the summer, which I like. I don't mind tramping in my little van; it's okay. But a slightly bigger van, and it gives me more chance of a backload. Short wheelbase, I would go up one category. Mine's classed as a midi, so it'll go up to a short wheelbase. So there would be a few more jobs. I've been checking. I can click up to short wheelbase. and on around Northampton at the moment, there's been about 350 jobs a day, which is bullshit because most of them, anything going locally, there's about 5 shippers putting it in for one job. Well, only one gets it, and the other 4 just leave it. So them jobs is one job, not 5. So uh, and there's lots of cancelled jobs. The cancelled jobs, I've got a theory about it that shippers are looking to see how much they've got a customer. Can you do this job for us? Yep, I'll give you a price in a minute. They put it on the CX, see how much a driver's prepared to do it for, add their money onto it, and go back to their customer. The customer says, "Oh, it's too much. I'm not going to do it. I'll send it DPD or Royal Mail parcels or FedEx, and 3-day delivery." And they just cancel the job if they can't make it pay, which is fair enough. But more and more cancelled jobs. So that's the way it is. So a bit of a rant this week, bit of a rant, but yeah, just I don't know. Anyway, best thing about it, I've just watched England win as well. Saints boys played well, so let's just do that as well. I've had a few questions as well, which I've tried to answer. And one question was, how much do you charge pence per mile on jobs? I forget your name of who asked it. I did answer you privately, but I think it's worth going through what it is. I'll do it now because I'll forget in the week. I quote anything. It's impossible to have a set formula. More experience you get doing it, the more you could do it off the top of your head or get a rough idea. I have a calculator with me in the van all the time. I work out a price, and it's anywhere between minimum 75p a mile, maximum could be £5 a mile. But London, if you're doing 5 miles and you're getting 40 quid for it, it's 8 quid a mile. So it could be anything. But on average, if you get £1 a mile, I think you're doing that's what you should get, and I think it's okay. I think that's pretty good. Fair few of my customers pay me £1 a mile. 90p to £1 a mile, I think, is about right for a small van. You go down to 75p when you're trying to get home in the afternoon, or you're trying to get somewhere near home, or you're in an area that's absolutely crap, or you're in a real big area where there's competition, there's loads of competition, but you shouldn't cut your nose despite your face. I think that's the saying, because you're just going to go bust. You need to put money aside for a vehicle. You need money aside for subscriptions, maintenance, insurances. If you don't have it, you're going to struggle. You may have finance on a van, so you need that. But my general rule is I look for short jobs. Maybe my minimum is 30 quid. That could be a 5 mile job in Northampton where I'm near it. If I'm in Northampton, it's a job in Northampton to Northampton. It's normally 30 quid. And it takes you 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But I could put a more on it. If I know the area it's going to going from, it may take you across town. It's a pain. If I have to travel to a job, I normally say I'm getting a job, let's just say from Kettering to Birmingham. Now, that Kettering to Birmingham may be 50 miles. I'm just guessing. Maybe 50 miles. But I have to go 16 miles to get to Kettering. Well, you look on the CX, it tells you how many miles you got. I add that on, I don't put a pound from all of it. So I don't say 16 plus 60, 76 quid, because I'm not going to get it. Because all they see is it's 60 miles and you're quoting 76 quid. So I tend to go sort of 80p a mile every mile. That's from my house to Kettering to Birmingham, 80p a mile. That's if you're doing 80p a mile in a small van at the moment, I think you're doing all right. So if you do 80p a mile at 60, 76 times 80, it's about 60 quid. So you're doing about £1 a mile, which Kettering to Birmingham, I think, is about right. Also, you've got to work out if you're going in rush hour. I'm doing a job from tomorrow. I'm picking it up in Northampton. I'm going to Woking, 80 miles, and I am quite close to it, so don't worry about that. But I'm picking up at 8:20. So that to get to Woking, that's about 2.5 hours for me, just for the traffic. It may be an hour and a half if I just went boom. But at 20 past 8, I'm hitting Northampton traffic, I'm hitting Luton traffic, I'll go around the M25 by Heathrow, Belton traffic, and I'll go down to Woking. So I'm in traffic. I class that as probably a 2.5 hour job. 2.5 hours, yeah, 75 quid. It's pretty reasonable, I think. 30 quid an hour, 15 quid for the half hour. If you do it less, okay. If you do it more, you just have to swallow it. So it's pence per mile. London, you don't even quote, I don't quote anything under probably, if I'm going to do a 2 mile job, I'm right near it, I might do it for 45. It's 50 quid minimum for a small job. If it's going across London, forget it. If it's going through congestion, you're quoting, I quote quite high. And I still get jobs in London because they know it's going to take you, it could take you 2 hours to do 5 miles, 6 miles. Just be careful where you're going. If you're going across the river, you're in the real bit in the middle, you got to pay congestion. There's a lot. So the answer to how much do you charge pence per mile varies greatly. It really does. If you're miles from anywhere and there's a job comes up, let's say you're in Cornwall. Not like very rare. I go to Cornwall. I do go now and again. Say you're in a place like Truro. You're right down the bottom of. You've done a good job. And if you're going to quote on a job to places like Truro or Cornwall or Scotland, I will not quote anything less than 85 pence to go to Scotland. Massive miles, I'll quote 85p because I know I'm coming back on probably 60 pence to get a job out of Scotland at the moment. Because English drivers up there are looking for their petrol money home. And if you average 85 and 60, it only works out at 72.5 pence a mile. But if you're doing 300 or 400 miles, you could swallow, the less pence per mile because you're just sitting driving. It's straight back. But if I'm quoting on a job to Cornwall, I'm quoting high. I'm not going to quote 75p a mile because I've got to get out of Cornwall. I may have to travel from Truro to Exeter to get a job. And you're not talking like half an hour. You're talking 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours. So if you're quoting to an area that's no good, East Anglia is another one. I'll probably quote £1 a mile all the way to anywhere in East Anglia because to get a job out there is difficult. I'm lucky I know 2 or 3 shippers in East Anglia, and what I'll do, I'll phone to say I'm going to be coming to East Anglia. If you've got anything coming out, I'd appreciate a call. So, but if you're going to somewhere like Manchester, Birmingham, there's lots more jobs, so there's more chance of you getting a job. So you may quote slightly less. You may quote it at 85 pence, 90p. I say there's lots of variances, so there's no definite answer. You've got to just judge it for yourself. What you think you can afford to do that. For God's sake, don't quote 60 pence on things. If it says nothing worse than this, a shipper puts a job on there. Let's just do it. Pick it up Northampton, 9 o'clock in the morning. Job. Pick up Northampton, deliver to Manchester. Backload rate, please. Deliver to Manchester, and then it says 4 letters that kill this ASAP. Fuck, can that be a backload rate? It just boils my blood. That is a hot shot. If it's ASAP, that's a hot shot. It's ASAP, you've got to get it there. That's a hot shot though. But they put backload rate. Loads of Scotland jobs at the moment are backload rates ASAP. It's not a backload if it's ASAP. Not in my book. But hey, I'm a rant this week. I don't know why, but I'm just in a rant mode. Anyway, let's hope we do better next week. I wasn't working Tuesday, but I am now because my hospital appointment's been put back a week. They haven't got no one there who can do the eye test or whatever. It's pants. But there you go. Another story. Hope you're doing all right. I'm going to try and put a video out in the week this week. It may be a short one, but I'm going to put one out. So we'll see. Hope you do well. Have a great week. Please like and subscribe. If you want to hear me waffle on for 20 minutes, I'd much appreciate it. Speak later.